The Padres lose in spectacular fashion in Colorado. Went from a winning series to splitting one. I guess my prediction was closest. It's time to talk Padres baseball on Padres Talking Padres.
Yeah, congratulations, Jay. That's something to be proud of. Yeah.
We're going by Price is Right rules, so none of us.
Well, it's I'll take it. I'll take the L. When we last, we usually predict like what the next sequence of games are gonna go, and I think Jerry, did you go 6-2? What was I can't remember what y'all's were, but it was pretty high.
Math is hard. He was 5-2.
Said 5-2. Jack, you said 6-1.
6-1,
and then
could have been 7-0.
And I said 4-3. We were all wrong. It was 3-4.
Yeah. Against the lowly Rockies. We now at this present time account for about a third of the Rockies' wins this year.
Oh, that hurts.
Not to mention we stopped their falling behind.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? 25 straight games they were behind.
They trailed in every game.
And they trailed every game in this series.
Yeah. No, they took a 1-0 lead in the first.
Oh,
on this one, yeah.
That broke the streak.
Yeah.
Vasquez.
Well, you were down Manny, you were down Jackson Merrill today. So the fact we put up 9 runs.
Has she had the baby yet?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
well, once he missed the third, Jack, I knew he wasn't going to fly out for one game today.
Yeah.
Well, Bryce Harper managed to play today, and I didn't know he's on my fantasy team, and he kept saying out, out, out. Oh, sure, he had a good game. That's okay. Screw me.
So disappointment today in Colorado. 2 games we should have won, and we ended up losing, which that happens. That's baseball. But Mike Schilt had a post-game presser that I thought was pretty spicy. So I figured we could kick off the discussion of today's game that ended in a very disappointing way. Oz, I want to post in your chat before we get into the hello lads, brutal loss. But flush it down and hope they can get 2 out of 3 from the Phillies. Indeed. Completely agree. So let me just change my audio so that way y'all can hear old Mike Schilt getting a little testy. Wasn't quite playoffs, but he was pretty angry. Here we go. Practice. Here we go. Oh, that stops. Why is it not playing?
Seemed like for as good as Wandy has been of late, he just didn't really have it from the start today. Why was he left in for 5 batters? Did you consider getting him out of there earlier?
It was obvious to you.
I said it seemed like he didn't really have it earlier today.
Okay. Wandy has about a 60% ground ball rate. Okay. The second a guy gives up a home run, I can't just go take out a guy that's got a microscopic ERA and's got righties out all year. Now, it can be subjective whether he has or not. That can be your opinion. My opinion is I got a veteran guy out there that knows how to get a ball on the ground and is 1 pitch away from getting a ground ball. So that's what we had. It didn't work out. Things don't work out all the time. I don't know what you would tell you.
Oh, that's fair.
It's a crazy venue. Crazy things happen here. How much of it is concern versus that's just you just chalk that one up to?
I don't have any concern. I'm going to tell you what I walked out of this ballpark. There's some agitation because we didn't win the game. But I'm going to tell you what I walk out of this ballpark with. A couple things. A bunch of gamers that showed up without one of our better players in Manny, which, rightfully so. He's having a baby. We had Jackson, who, little ouchie, want to stay away from it. We had guys all over the field playing their asses off and going out and stepping up and getting after it every day. A bunch of gamers stepping up all across the board. And I'm going to tell you what, I'll run Wandy Peralta out there any and every day in the 8th inning with the lead. Okay. It doesn't work sometimes, but I can tell you what, this group, outside of the result at the end of the day, the heart and the competitive spirit and those guys getting after everything they've got, it doesn't work out every time. But I'll take this group any day of the week because I got a bunch of winning gamers. Take that over the long haul.
Is a part.
So there you go.
He looked like Belichick in the beginning when he was asked the question.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't think anywhere in there was anybody questioning the heart and soul of the team. Look, I love Schilt, and he's right. People are going to make mistakes, including him.
Mhm.
I just think it was an easy question. The guy obviously didn't have his stuff. I'm not looking to jettison Peralta for any reason at all.
Yeah, he's been money all season.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with the guy not having his stuff that day. That's, to me, the simple answer to that question. But you let him go the fourth and fifth batter. You had to let him go 3. You have to. But you didn't have to let him go 4 and 5, and that's where, to me, they lost the game.
A lot of pitchers can't pitch in Colorado. I mean, power pitchers.
Dylan Cease, apparently.
Yeah, well,
incredible.
Well, I think
we'll get into some good from this series. The Cease performance was absolutely incredible.
He was amazing.
Waldron.
Yeah, Waldron had
Waldron was great too.
Yeah.
I just think there's some pitchers that just get. It's like hitting at Petco. We have hitters that can't hit it in their own park.
Mm-hmm.
They get psyched out. They get warning track power. I mean, go back to looking at Nevin and Klesko. Those two guys were going insane when they first went to Petco Park. They hated it.
You know, the biggest thing for me is listening to Orsello and Grant on the TV. Mm-hmm. And Grant even made the statement at least twice that Wandy Peralta's release point was off.
Right.
Well, if Mark Grant can see that, and he's a former major league pitcher and pretty good one, actually, despite his self-deprecation.
Yeah.
That tells you a little something. Again, I saw a little bit of the defensive side of Mike Schilt that I don't really like. Like, I get it. You're standing up for your players. I got no problem with that. But you never answered the question of why you left him in for batters 4 and 5.
I like it personally.
If I'm a player,
that's what I think it's for.
I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for that man. If he's fighting for me, I'm gonna fight for him.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure behind closed doors he wasn't as peachy, and all that stuff. But I saw it too. I go, okay, he doesn't have it. Let's get him out of there. And it just like bam, 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 and then it was too late after that. It was just Oh well.
There's a lot of different. Hey, look, there's a lot of different.
It's April.
There's a lot of different ways to win and lose a game. They found a way to lose one. Is it the end of the world? No, but
it's pretty damn close.
You didn't have the chance to see the very last of it. But when it was all over, they showed Profar standing in the dugout looking out, and he looked distraught.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't believe that just happened. That's going to leave a mark, as they say. And it's up to this club. It's up to this club to go to this weekend series and say, we're better than that. We're going to learn from it. We're going to go forward.
Yeah.
Last year, they didn't do it. No. They got hard losses. They lost more.
Yeah.
So I'm still in favor of this team and the way it's going. They're still a 500 team. Nobody's running away with the division. But how you react to something like this tells you a lot about a team.
Yeah.
Well, this is how they folded last year.
That's what I'm saying.
They lost a couple. Yeah, they lost a couple. Games they shouldn't have lost, and then
to Washington, who at that time was as bad as Colorado.
Yeah, and the Dodgers went crazy, and the Padres went south, and it was just like never recovered.
You start winning till it was too late.
Yeah. Right. But there are some positives though.
Well, actually, yeah. Let's talk about the positives of the series. Mentioned it a little bit ago. Cease and Waldron had fantastic games.
I love Cease at it. He's the new Kevin Brown.
Yeah.
Except he smiles.
He does smile. I love
Kevin Brown never smiles.
Interviews.
Yeah. I like when he gave up that walk and he looked in the dugout and goes, "No, just stay there. I got this."
Yeah.
And people are going, "Why would you give Cease so many pitches? His pitch count." I go, "Well, obviously he knows his own body. He can go 4 or 5 more pitches. It's not going to kill him."
And I'll go beyond Cease and Waldron, the bullpen until this game.
Yeah, bullpen was incredible.
I mean, let's. In fact, not trying to just call certain players because you kind of live and die. Relievers ERAs are always, known to go up because they pitch a third of an inning, give up 2 runs, and it blows out of proportion. But De Los Santos was money.
Yeah,
money. And I've already seen on the internet people saying, "Why did you pull him?" Well, because you might want to use him in the next week or so. You know,
Yeah.
you can't just.
Well,
blow out
it was only the
50
sixth.
pitches.
It was only the sixth inning.
Exactly, and you get a 9-4 lead, and you know you pass it on, and it has worked, and you know that's the defense I'll have of Schilt is like, look, I got a bullpen of guys down there that are grinders that are going to get the job done, but it doesn't always happen. That's fine. That's fine. So I've blown my steam as far as the decision making.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the Schilt was wrong. I'm just saying that's the question I had was, he doesn't have his stuff. Wouldn't you think that was a good time to pull him? That's
I think if you pull him and you bring in Kolek, who also is probably the weakest link out of the bullpen, I would think,
hasn't shown it. Hasn't shown it.
Well, his first pitch when he gave up the meat pitch right down the middle, gave up the go-ahead run, and then he struck the guy out. I go, God, it's just that.
Well, despite the situation, you sit there and say, okay, a reliever that comes in and gets an out and gives up a hit, is that really that bad? It just so happened it was the winning run, but I mean, in the long run, I think it was
Peralta. Was it Peralta's pitch? It was right down the middle of the plate.
Yeah,
the home run.
Well, the groove he did to Goodman to hit the home run.
Yeah, I said, oh my God.
Yeah,
I go location.
Yeah, and it didn't work out.
But again, in Colorado, sometimes when you have stuff that moves or it won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a pitcher, I would never want to pitch that.
Absolutely, it's awful, and it's a terrible ballpark in just the dimensions.
The outfield is huge.
It's just massive.
Yep.
And it's I understand
it's a beautiful ballpark. I've been there. It is a beautiful ballpark.
A functional ballpark.
The point you're talking about is, for years there's been an ongoing debate on whether to play your outfielders all the way back by the wall, so to speak, or shallow.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have quit playing it so deep because they figure we're letting way too many bloopers fall in.
Yeah.
Now I actually had made a note because I found some interesting stats before this game that the Padres this year are only averaging a home run every 49 at bats compared to 27 at bats last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's significant. I mean, that's almost a 2-for-1, right?
Well, you're missing a Soto.
Well, Soto's not really a homer hitter, but I think.
But again, who'd you replace with Profar? Who's not? I guess. Well, he has 3.
Yeah. And and it's to me, it's a team thing, But the bottom line is Tatis is hitting him, Profar's hitting him, Kim's hitting him, and Machado's hitting him. But the bottom line is stats are stats. They're only hitting half as many home runs to this point. The other thing,
and I think that's a good thing.
I know a lot of people say that said this one, but the first 3 games was the first time since 2013 that the Padres had gone 3 consecutive games in Denver and not hit a home run.
Yeah.
So it is kind of concerning, not to go over the cliff kind of thing, but it is kind of concerning the power outage.
But I think I think different. Who's echoing? It's me.
It's probably me. Give me 1 second. I'll fix it. Keep talking. Go ahead. You say your thing.
I think it's a different approach to hitting. I mean, they're going the opposite way. They're not trying to. I mean, Kim on the last at bat, he almost spun himself into the ground trying to hit a game tying home run. Just had to get on base, Kim.
Right.
But it just. I think that's just a different approach. They're more. Yeah. They're going for not necessarily average. They're going for extended innings because they're not a power team,
and it's somewhat working for them.
But they're not. I mean, you look at their team. They're not a power team.
Yeah.
I mean, they can hit some home runs. Merrill, a couple years from now, Merrill's going to hit probably 25, 30 home runs. But I think your
point being that if you look at most teams, including the Padres, most teams have probably 3 or 4 guys that you sit there and say, okay, they could hit 30 home runs. Yeah. I'm not saying they will, but they could. You look at the Padres and I go, Machado, Tatis.
That's pretty much.
So nothing wrong with that, but that also, we've talked about before, that also means that your lineup needs to be extensive. It needs to be the breadth and the length of it needs to be more. And so far, that part's worked for them. Again, you're what is it, 13-13 or 12-12? You're a 500 club. You're a couple of games behind the Dodgers. It's not earth shattering. but it's still a statistic you kind of look at and say, yeah, but you do need the big homers. You do need those in a few games.
The last season, did they play in Mexico during that stat time? Because they had
I
like
believe
20
Mexico
homers
was like May of last year.
And I think it was in
no,
April. It was in
Colorado,
April.
Colorado's going to Mexico this weekend.
Yeah.
And I know they hit like 30 home runs in Mexico.
This is something I will say.
I had one in Mexico.
The stats have shown they're actually hitting line drives more. They're also hitting ground balls more, but they're hitting line drives more. And I think that backs up what Jack's talking about of they've changed their hitting approach to just hit the ball instead of trying to, either walk or hit a home run. They've shifted their strategy.
And like you point out, Jared, there's two guys. You go, okay, 30 homers for those two. The rest should not be trying to hit. They should be trying to put the ball in play. It's not like we got Aaron Judge or.
But you look at the Yankees. They've only got and Juan Soto. How many has he hit more than 30 home runs in a season?
I think he did.
Did he? He's not a big home run hitter either. He walks.
Well, he's going to hit a lot this year because he's playing Yankee Stadium.
You know how many home runs he has to left field at Yankee Stadium?
Most left-handers can't hit home runs to left field.
I'm sorry, right field. Right field. Sorry. I meant to say right field.
Yeah. Well, so
he has one to right field.
I'm not going to sit here and bang Soto. Soto's the premier hitter of spraying the ball and hitting it where it needs to go.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like we don't. And even you could also be the San Francisco Giants that haven't had a 30 home run hitter since I don't know 2 decades. 2010. Barry Bonds, I think, is the last time. Maybe.
Yeah. Really?
Wow, yeah, that's that stat. I think when the Giants were playing us.
That's right. I do remember that.
They haven't had that's why they got Soler because they haven't had a 30 home run hitter in however long.
I think it was since Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
We need a power hitter. I'm not saying, but we need a legitimate.
Well, we need Machado with a lineup. I think it just illustrated in a very hard fashion how much we need his bat.
Oh, absolutely.
It also brought some attention to me on how we cannot afford a big injury. We can't afford one.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have the depth that we need.
Yeah.
We're kind of skating on thin ice. I like our 9, so to speak, maybe even 10. But yeah, I mean, this proved to me, it's like, man, if Machado goes on the 15 DL or Tatis does,
I think
Bogarts or Kim. I mean, they can't really afford these guys to miss so many times.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And but a note about Colorado's stadium this season so far. I think it was in Kevin Acey's daily this morning. It actually has surrendered the 4th fewest home runs this season so far.
I'll go even further than that. It's 11 runs averaged last year versus 9 this year combined teams. Yeah.
But Petco Park is like in the top 4 of average home runs per stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Colorado has been accused of turning that humidifier up quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when they first started using that, I may be misremembering this, but I think there was something said about you need to turn it down a little bit because they basically just made them softballs.
Yeah.
And, nobody was hitting any of them out. So, yeah. I hate Coors Field. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's not baseball. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. It's not baseball. And I'm not a big fan of the short fence, Fenway. Sorry, all you Boston Red Sox fan. I used to be one, but the short porch stuff and the, I know baseball likes its unique stadiums and stuff like that. I'm more of I just would like everybody to play in the same dimensions.
At least Houston got rid of the flagpole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it was stupid, but it was kind of fun. Well, I'm pulling up now the Kevin Acey article. Coors Field is yielding the 4th fewest home runs per game, 1.43 of any MLB park this season. Petco Park is comparatively playing like the moon with 2.62 home runs per game behind Progressive Field, Angel Stadium, and Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The 4th most home runs per game at Petco Park.
Well, so there's something in that, right? The Padres are not hitting home runs. Their home record, I believe, is 6-8. Their ballpark is not fitting their ball players right now.
Well, it never has. But going to Colorado, a lot of guys in this series hit their first home run of the season Could it be the Rockies aren't hitting a lot of home runs?
Maybe.
That could be why it's so
that-
down, because the guy goes, "That's his first home run of the season." I go,
There's other teams there playing.
I'm saying the other teams are hitting home runs.
Sure.
But the Rockies are not hitting. I mean, because remember back in the day, the Rockies, they just loaded up with guys that get hit home runs.
Blake Street Bombers.
Yeah, and that's and you look at their lineup today, it's like, all right, how are they? Again, it's like, how are we losing to them?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But I think you got to look at that stat too. Okay, it's the Padres. I've always said the Padres should should set their lineup like the '80s Cardinals: speed hitters and a couple power hitters.
That's kind of what they are, in that they have a couple power hitters,
but they need some better hitters.
Well, I think now we're going back to the discussion of what the lineup should look like, and I think we all three have talked about it and agree. Merrill should be leading off.
Yeah,
and Bogart's good for him. He came out of his slump this series.
Yeah,
and even on Sunday, you knew he would. It's not again. I always like to make sure everybody understands. I'm not a Bogarts hater. I think he's a great player.
Yeah,
but it's the same way I feel about anybody that's in a slump. Take the pressure off them. Leadoff has probably got the most pressure of any place you hit.
Yeah.
Because everybody's over at the top of the lineup, or you're leading off the game. It's you can't hardly win because nobody leads off and hits 1,000. And as soon as the first guy gets out, you're like, oh yeah, he shouldn't be leading off. But the bottom line is,
you have someone like
me. It's more for me. It's that Merrill right now is more of a singles hitter, and he's got speed. So put Bogarts at fifth, even. I'm fine with that. But yeah, to have him lead off, I just think is an ill-gotten use for him.
Mm-hmm.
I was even saying put Profar at leadoff if you're not going to put Merrill, because he works the count. He's always getting 7, 8, 9 pitch count, and the pitch count is huge. It's just I think they're eventually going to we're going to see with all these injuries, they're going to say, oh, we're going to start stopping pitchers at 90 pitches. I mean, I think they're really going to start bringing this, because who knows, but
I think he stopped throwing so hard. I don't know.
Yeah, well, but Profar, he just is even when he has a terrible at bat, it's still a good at bat because he's made the pitcher
exactly. He always does.
But my first choice would be Merrill.
Yeah, my comment to my wife this afternoon when I was watching the game, I said, "Doesn't it tell you, or what does it tell you?" I should say. I formed it in a question. What does it tell you that the last guy the Padres sign, supposedly just to fill the outfield, is hitting cleanup for the Padres?
It's not. You're not wrong.
Kudos to Profar, because we've had him this is our third time. He's playing even better than he has before. He's always played well for us. He loves to play for the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
He was excited to get back to San Diego.
Yeah.
All his friends are on the team.
The guy's just a winner.
Yes.
I really like him because he's zealous. He smiles a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's a happy-go-lucky player.
He
like gives you everything in the outfielder. He's not even. I think he's just maybe average or slightly below average outfielder. But the guy hustles. He dives, and he's clutch.
Yep.
He's had 3 or 4 hits this year in the clutch to win games or to put them ahead.
Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of almost troubling to me that here's the guy that you're signed. I don't know what his minuscule
$1 million
ended up being, $1 million, and but good for him. But yeah, I think it tells a little something to your point, Jack, that you were making is, and we seem to be that one hitter short. It's like we really could use another big bat. Sitting in the 5-hole or somewhere around there.
I don't like the fact they brought Paulie back up just to sit him on the bench. I know he had
that
first game. It's like either play him or send him back. Let him get some at bats. It doesn't make it's like the Ryan.
Well, I guess he's crushing it down there though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
he's got
He
nothing.
needs to be in Double A because Triple A and was El Paso. That's like playing.
Yeah, they don't like sending him there because I don't know. Yeah, same with Batten. Like, why'd you I know you had to fill a spot for Machado, but
well, Batten's not. I don't think he's not someone we're going to see. I mean, I think he's a good utility guy, but I don't think he's someone that we're going to see. He's not an everyday player. But Paulie,
I don't think Paulie is either.
I think, but you look at his minor league stats. He crushes the ball. But it's just like anytime a player comes up, I don't care who you are. You go, oh, Christ, I better get a hit, or I'm going to sit the next 3 or 4 days. Especially a young player, and that's what happens. I go, why is he even on? Bring up a veteran. You got Tyler. You got Tyler Wade. Bring up another Tyler Wade.
Yeah. Jay, I was going down memory lane a little bit when Jack said that. Wasn't it Bruce Bochy that anytime a minor leaguer was brought up, that he would instill them in the lineup for like the first 2 games they were up, just to get for Jack's like Jack said it. I don't want to bring him up, just have him sit on the bench, kind of like let's get him in the action for a couple.
Yep.
I think that was Bruce Bochy that did that.
I think
it was. Bruce Bochy was the master of of Schilt, like the steady lineup, for better words. You know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because who was it? I can't remember. It was Tingler. I think it was Tingler. Holy crap! It was like a different lineup every game. Yeah, exactly. It's like he's rolling the dice and saying who's going to hit first, who's going to hit fifth. And,
I couldn't stand his.
There was no consistency to it.
Yeah.
So
players
pretty steady. He's made a few moves here and there. But
any sport, you have to get into a groove, and you can't get in a groove sitting on the bench. You just can't. And again, I mean, if he's horrible defensively, put him at DH.
Yeah.
Except we need a DH, especially when Manny's not there. I think they put him in DH 1 game. And he didn't.
Yeah, but then they pinch hit for him after 2 at bats.
I know exactly. It's like why?
Well, it does though. Jay, you again, you brought up a good point. Machado's supposed to come back pretty soon here and play the field. Who's going to DH now?
It's a hole. Well, Solano. I think Solano is at least
I
would
thought
assume
he'd be up by now. Am I missing
You're not
something?
wrong.
Like they signed him over a week ago, wasn't it, or 2 weeks ago?
This would be the series to bring him up, to be honest.
Well,
unless he's got it
instead of Baton,
unless he's got an injury or something. I don't know.
No, I don't know why they're holding.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a JD Martinez thing where he was hurt, signed him and he got hurt, or Blake Snell.
There's a couple of things I wanted to follow up on that was brought up here. Talking about Profar, how well he's done. Have you all watched the Eric Hosmer podcast interview?
I watched the one with
I have that queued up here to show.
I have not. I saw it, but I did. It was when we were heading out the door last night, and so I forgot to go and look at it because it looked interesting. They had him.
It was really fascinating. But they talk about Profar being a glue guy, and Hosmer called it out. He said, "What you do," because it's Profar and Tatis are there being interviewed by Hosmer and 2 other guys. But
I thought it was another Padre. Was it another Padre there?
No, I think it was just Tatis and Profar.
Yeah,
but Hosmer said what Profar does so well is he holds people accountable, or he says the thing everyone's thinking, but does it in a way that doesn't piss anybody off, but also gets it out there.
Right.
And, it settles it so it doesn't let it fester. And then everybody's
he might make a good manager someday.
Maybe.
Well,
it may be.
But, the thing is, you need a guy like that, because otherwise everybody starts talking in quarters and 3 guys over here, 2 guys over there. Yeah. And, not being abrasive obviously is very important. You can't just come out and just call people out, and you do it in the clubhouse. And obviously Hosmer knows a little bit about that, because during his tenure, they had a couple of times where the newspaper was writing, there's dissension in the clubhouse, who's saying what and things.
They talked about they talked about the 3-0 grand slam, and how, remember when they showed the video of Hosmer and Tatis talking?
You see, Hosmer was talking to the Texas bench.
They say they clear it like, we were just talking. The media made it, because they basically threw Tingler on the bus. There's a lot of Tingler shade being thrown in the episode.
Well, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Yeah.
Yeah.
On what you were mentioning that, before I forget it, I just read an article this afternoon that said that Hassan Kim called Fernando Tatis in the winter at 11 o'clock in the Dominican Republic, just to say how much he loved him and missed him.
Yeah. Isn't that sweet?
Well, I think it's cool, because Hassan Kim and Profar and apparently Tatis too, they just seem to be great teammates.
Yes.
Like they're
Yes.
guys that are very supportive. I mentioned to you guys when Tyler Wade pinch hit for Rosario.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler Wade got the winning hit in that particular game. I think it was Monday's game or Tuesday. I can't remember, but it was the winning hit.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came into the dugout, the first guy on the top of the steps to meet Tyler Wade was Rosario.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good teammate because
Mhm.
you got pinch hit for by this guy, and yet
Mhm.
you're the first guy to meet him as he comes back to the dugout.
Yeah.
I thought that was class.
Yeah.
That's what you want out of a teammate.
Mm-hmm. No, totally agree.
Okay,
Oz says, I love Kim's profile and Tatis's relationship. Me too.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's bring up this clip. Jack, you mentioned it. Jerry. Oh, we lost my dad.
Mhm.
So we'll see if he comes back in.
Yeah.
But this is a pretty funny clip. It's an hour episode. I suggest you check it out, but hold on.
Okay.
Oh, pause this. Let me share. Gotta change my audio real fast. Make sure I turn it back. All right. Here we go.
The story with Kim, I tell a lot of the Korean, the Japanese players to calm the nerves, they smoke cigarettes. So Kim, his first year, crushing cigarettes. Hey, you go to use the bathroom down the clubhouse, and Kim just boom, boom, boom. Like, God damn, Bobby. Yeah. Stressing. So year 2, he comes back to spring training, right? He comes back to spring training, and he goes, hey, bro, me, no more cigarette. No more cigarette. We're like, oh, okay, good. Hey, we go the whole spring, good. Second day of the season, 6 at-bats in. We walk by, Kim's out there. We go, hey, you said you're done. He goes, mucho stress. He got right back on.
Too funny. Too funny.
Mucho.
Yeah, the pressure of a ball player is enormous. We sometimes see him joking around and everything like that. But when you get to the 8th and 9th inning, all of a sudden all the laughs and giggles, we got to kind of go away. And now it's like, okay, we're talking about the ball game, and nobody wants to get caught laughing if you're losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some guys over the years have been called out for that. It's like, what, do you like losing? You're sitting there laughing and joking, and you're down by 8 runs. How dare you? So.
Yeah. But I highly recommend watching that because I thought there's some cool insights there. And I know a lot of people. There's a lot of Padre fans that did not like Hosmer. And I think some for fair reasons because his defense was pretty terrible with us. But still, it's nice to kind of see the parts of baseball that.
Well, look, he was getting long in the tooth, so to speak, for baseball. Number one, I think I said this on a previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I still give credit to Hosmer starting the wave of free agents coming our way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some credit thrown his way for taking a chance. He'd won a World Series. He's going to San Diego Padres team that he thinks looks like it's starting to build. Out of him, you start, the line of guys starting to come through. You get the Will Myers, and you got the Manny Machado obviously coming over, and I think it's important to recognize the guys who had to do the suffering, so to speak, to get the team up to where it's at.
Yeah,
I always try to keep it not personal. I don't know these guys. I mean, even when they interview them, it's like, well, you're seeing a side that's maybe not real. Mm-hmm. Everybody can turn, shine on when the lights are on or the camera comes on and everything. But but I go a lot by what Orsello and Grant, they talk to these guys. And then again, they're not going to say anything bad about them. Sure. You can tell when they really like a guy. Orsello just goes on and on about Mookie Betts and on about Bogarts. Like these are quality human beings. These are great guys.
Yeah.
And again, we talk a lot about team chemistry. The three of us are never going in the dugout. We don't know what it exists or doesn't exist. And all I can kind of go by is the demeanor in the clubhouse when guys do well, when guys don't do well. Even the manager, when Schilt defends him, even though, he sucked that day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have that, because otherwise you're going to have that dissension again.
Yeah. No. Jack, you missed. I shared the clip of the mucho stress smoking cigarettes for Ha-Seong Kim. Clip.
He wasn't like Jim Leland in the dugout, like him.
Yeah, there were sometimes, Jim, he didn't even try and hide it.
Yeah.
Screw it.
Oh man, ripping
It's
cigs.
a good old days.
I always wonder that. Yes. But like, I guess your lungs are fine then. I guess I don't know. I guess because Kim seems like a pretty healthy guy.
Well, they talked about it in his soul, the preempt his soul and everything, and the workout regimen the guy's got. I mean, again, I have to give it to the Korean, the Japanese players. They seem to be more in tune with their bodies as far as the off season and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that the Americans aren't doing it now. I think they are. I think a lot of them, whether you're talking about baseball or even golf, I mean, Tiger Woods has changed a lot of people's feelings on that, because golfers follow Tiger Woods. Well, I think a lot of those guys play golf and they start realizing it's like, the off season's great. You hear a lot of them say, "I'm just going to take a couple of weeks off, but then I'm going back to training."
Tiger just needs to stay out of a car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, he's so rich. Like, can he do something with his hair? Like, not to get off topic here, but
chicks dig it, so what, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
What do they like? He takes off his hat. I was like, "Come on, you're loaded. Just get it. I don't know, get some plugs or something, or shave it. It's either shave it or get some work done."
For everybody watching our podcast, that was Jay. In your email to him.
Yes. Hating on the ball
anyway.
people.
Well, it's like, Will Myers, like his hairline regrew. And I was like, good for you.
I think you're talking to a couple of guys who can't say a whole lot about hair. So
you're the president of the United States suddenly has hair.
I mean, sure. Or Jerry Seinfeld, it's his like, he's got more hair than last time I saw Jerry Seinfeld. But
what's the deal with hair plugs? I saw him in concert once but couldn't hear him.
Maybe the person you went to that and maybe in the chat as well.
The tickets I don't want to say who it was.
Yeah.
What did he say? They're laughing down there.
Any other thoughts from the Colorado series?
I think that Kim is playing. I don't want to jinx it, but he's playing much better defense than he was.
I think
he was.
Yeah, he seems to be working a little better with Bogarts. There was that one with a game where, was it the first game where he got the ball at the middle? I go, take it yourself.
Yeah.
He tossed it to Bogarts, and Bogarts got the play off. I go, okay, all right.
Was it there was that double play at the end of the game? That was a really good double play.
That's the one he's talking about. Where Kim literally could have taken 5 steps forward.
Yeah.
And the momentum carrying him towards the bag.
I was bagging on Bogarts a little bit about his defense. It has improved a lot.
Yeah,
and maybe that's helped, and maybe that's helped his hitting, because he's playing a little better defense than he was before. So if it's one less thing you have to worry about, everything is up here. We've all played sports. We've all done different sports. It's all up here. Life is up here. You get something in your head and you go, oh crap, what am I doing? I gotta go smoke like Kim. And I don't even smoke.
Mucho stress.
Yeah.
I know people on Twitter are saying, because they're watching the Hosmer podcast, they're like, I don't want to like him.
That's what we were talking about towards right before he came back. But I think it's cool to see that perspective. And
well, even Tatis, as much as he seems to just oozes enjoyment of the game, came out and said, people don't realize how much of a grind this schedule is. 162 games, all the travel, all the expectations, your film studying, you're constantly practicing.
And the Chargers don't have the Padres don't have a break for 13 straight days. So it's
and the fact of the matter is, guys, is sometimes you sit there and go, okay, so they have a day off. Okay, but what are they doing? Well, they're either traveling all night to get back home and then playing, the next day, or they're traveling the next day to get to the place they're going to be playing the next day. So it's not really a day off. They don't. I don't think they get to get up for breakfast and go to the beach for the day. And then,
well, especially after you played a night game last night, and you have to turn around and play a day game today. Then you have to travel back to San Diego. I think when Machado comes back, they got to start using. We were saying who's going to be their DH. They need to start using the DH as a day off for people. Like give Bogarts a day off, but he DHs. Tatis a day off. He DHs. Just kind of give the guys.
I think it's early, but I think you're right, Jack. I think we're heading towards that time. I mean, these guys. Still relatively young guys. But I think to your point, a lot of managers say, okay, but that's more like, May, okay, that's when I start needing to give these guys
but they flew to Korea. Yeah. They had to play over there. They got to come back. I mean, we've all flown.
Yeah.
I know they got, better deal than us, but it's still flying is not.
It doesn't shorten the trip. You can have a better seat. You can even, pretend to sleep if you want, but the bottom line is it's still in the air. If you're going to Washington and you're coming back to San Diego, you're in the air for 6 hours. So
what did Mud call Tom Cosgrove? What did he call him?
Fudge.
Cosmo.
It was a name. He goes, "Do they call you that?" He goes, "Sure." And it turns out.
What do they call you?
I thought it was Tom.
What do you call you? Tom.
I thought it was, all the guys call. I thought he said all the guys call him Cosmo, and then found out that it's like, what do they call you? And it's like,
no, Polly Walnut. No, that's sorry, it's not Polly Walnuts. It's Polly.
I'm pretty sure it was Cosmo guys, but I could be wrong. Anyway,
it could be Cosmo.
Chat. Let us know.
It was a different. It was just a normal name, and then because Don keeps making fun of Mud about it.
Yeah. Which is because he makes up nicknames for the guys, and it's like, do you know that that's what they call them, or is that what you call them? Yeah.
But just a little bit of. I mean, everybody loves Don and Mud, but Mud is really insightful. Like as an analyst, he's a really good analyst.
Big time.
I think the problem is he's such a jokester.
Yeah, people don't take him seriously.
They don't take him seriously, but he. Like you said earlier, Jerry, about the release point, he knows baseball. I mean, it's not just the pitching side. He knows the hitting side. He knows the fielding side. I mean, he's spot on when he goes, I think but he doesn't get the credit because he's goofing around.
Yeah,
here's
where the fielders are positioned. If he just hits the ball over there, you got a big gap over here. Like he's seeing the whole thing.
I said it so many times about them. What makes them good, not only just because they personally seem to fit each other, is they know when to turn it into serious and when to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want a yuckster when it's a, one-run game, bottom of the ninth. It's not time for jokes.
Yeah.
But when you've got I tell you, if there's anybody I want to listen to in a 8-1 game, it's those two.
Yeah.
Because they know it's like, this game is not very entertaining.
Yeah.
So guess what? We're going to give you a few laughs.
Yeah.
So
even today he said, because Tatis did this twice today. Mud goes, I think this is time that Tatis is going to go deep, but blah, blah, then the pitch was. He goes, that was the pitch.
That was the
pitch. and he didn't swing, and Tatis did that earlier with a 3-0 pitch.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, and the pitch. I go, oh God, that was the pitch. And he ended up striking out.
Yeah.
I go, that was the pitch. Oh my God.
Tatis knows it. He's kind of scuffling right now a little bit.
Yeah.
The thing about, I'll say this about Tatis and Machado, and I guess Bogarts even falls in that category. Somewhere in this season, if not once, twice, 3 times, they're going to get in such a groove that they're going to hit like 7 home runs in 10 games.
Absolutely.
And you're right. What we consider scuffling for Tatis is like, oh yeah, he's probably had 2 home runs in the last 10 games.
Yeah,
that's scuffling.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So the bottom line is that I think there's also might be a call for him to drop down to third. Put Merrill at second even, or put And I've heard you, Jack. You're right. Bogarts has said I don't like hitting second, but man, Merrill, Bogarts, Tatis, Machado sounds really good to me.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to hit second.
Yeah,
it's not like the old day. It's not like the old days where you had your leadoff guy was Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, You know, a guy who's going to
Right.
was his main job was to get on base. Well, not Ricky Hendricks, but to get on base and steal second, where you had to take pitches because you couldn't, if you swung and ruined the, you lose a stolen base. It's not like that anymore. I mean, there's still you still steal bases, but not like it was in the back in the day.
Wouldn't you love to ask Tony Gwynn how he felt about that hitting second behind Alan Wiggins?
He got nothing but fastballs.
Nothing but fastballs.
Nothing but fastballs.
He used to say that about having Alan Wiggins right in front of him. It's like all I got was fastballs. He helped my average,
Yeah.
But
the game changed, and I think Bogarts is still playing the old school, where in Boston, like you said, it has that, the Green Monster, and it's a home run park. And so, of course, you're not going to probably steal, you don't want to run yourself out of an inning where times are changing. You get some bigger ballparks. And I think he would be very good at the second spot, but he doesn't want to do it.
Were you guys surprised like I was? I was going to bring this up as a good time. Were you surprised as I was that it seemed like the Padres ran a little extra more in Coors than they have anywhere else, thinking Coors is usually a home run park and doubles and gappers. We seem to run a lot. I got caught a couple of times yesterday too.
We sacrificed today.
And sacrificed. I mean,
I was like going.
I thought we were playing. I thought we kind of played a little bit more small ball than we have any time this year.
We did, yeah.
Well, we've played small ball a few times.
Yeah, but it's Colorado.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was more, but to me, it was more than just that once in a game. I mean, we had several bunts, we had several steals. I think we even had a couple of hit and runs, or attempts.
I'd be honest with you. That's my style of baseball. I love the running.
I was just surprised at Coors. That was my point. I'm with you, Jack. I will never disagree with that. I like moving runners. I mean, it paid off for them today. I know they didn't win the game, but they scored, I believe, 2 of their runs because Cronenworth hit one to the right side, and I forget who the other person was, hit it to the right side in another inning, and that ended up getting us a sack fly or a ground.
How many times did Arizona beat us last year by running?
Yeah. They really did. It was really annoying.
And again, it puts extra. I mean, you can only disengage twice.
Right.
I was shocked though a couple of times. Okay, he uses 2 disengagements. I don't remember if it was Toronto or Colorado, and we didn't run. I'm like going, okay, he literally
first
can't.
move.
Yeah,
first move.
He can't.
No, you can't get you, but you
can't. I mean, I know, but
Yeah.
if you don't get him, he gets second base anyway. So
Right.
it's like,
Right.
Anyway, I don't know.
So we I know we only got a few minutes left, man. But what about the Phillies coming in?
Let's talk about it.
Man, that's not a good matchup after this game.
I know which pitchers are we getting? Which pitchers are we getting?
Well, we're getting Nola right off the bat.
Okay. Did Wheeler pitch today?
Yes. Yeah, Nola's going against Musgrove.
Musgrove is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then it's Cease. Who's going against Cease? Is it Ranger
Suarez?
Suarez? Ranger Suarez is
Suarez.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. The Saturday game is going to be a pitcher's duel.
It is.
Yeah.
And then hopefully Manny's back.
I would think that even if they haven't had the baby yet, I would think he'd be back because he can obviously be on the field and get a call. I think the big deal for him was I can't be in Denver and get the call and be back in any short time. So but
so
this is a team that's got always
King
has mega power.
I mean, I still remember the Kyle Schwarber home run to the moon against Darvish in Game 1 in the NL.
They do have power, but they have more because their park is a hitter's park.
Yeah, it is.
But they still have power. I mean, I'm not.
I would say because I think they got 4 or 5. I mean, Trey Turner kills the Padres. Bryce Harper kills the Padres. Schwarber hits a moonshot at least once every series. I mean, we're going to have our hitting shoes on. I mean, we're playing 2 offensive-minded teams in the next 6 games.
Yeah, Reds are playing well too.
Are more known for their power and speed when it comes to the Reds. This is another tough side of the schedule, and I'm concerned because we're 6-8 at home, and it's real early. But we're just not playing our best baseball.
But we haven't been for a while. This team does not generally play well at home.
But why?
Past few seasons.
Yeah. I think it's just it's in their head. They hit the ball to the warning track.
Other teams are hitting well.
But I don't think they don't have that. They're coming in there. Okay, I got 4 games here at San Diego. Blah blah blah. They don't have that in their head. Jesus, during batting practice, I hit 10 balls and they all died in center field. I mean, it's just that's why I think they're changing their approach to hitting.
Yeah.
Not that they can't crank them out of Petco, but it's in their head. It has to be.
So help me out here. Wasn't it Mike Cameron? Was it used to be our center fielder?
Yes.
Okay. So it was him. Played for the Yankees for a while too.
Yeah.
And I guess he started quite the rift by saying that Soto was benefiting from a New York Yankee crowd.
It was Cameron Maybin.
Cameron Maybin.
Yeah. Right. Started quite the rift because it said Soto was flourishing in New York because he needed a more intelligent, boisterous crowd that wouldn't let him get away with things than San Diego. And of course, San Diego fans pretty much came unglued. And it's like, we sell out every game.
Yeah. We have the highest.
If you haven't been to it, and a lot of people said, well, and they said kind of like this, well, loser, you played here when we weren't very good.
Yeah.
And you were part of it.
Yeah. So I saw that. I almost got into it. And I go, nah, enough people got into it.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but like I've been to Yankees, the old Yankee Stadium and new Yankee Stadium. The bleacher creatures suck. And just the fans in general are really annoying, and it's not.
They're booing Judge. It booed him on bobblehead night.
Like that's the environment you want to play in as a player. Okay.
While we're at it, the thing that annoys me the most is how everybody always tips the line that New York Yankee fans, Boston Red Sox, Philly fans are more baseball intelligent than West Coast fans.
No,
and it just annoys the crap out of me. It's like
more than they're smarter than Dodger fans.
Well, a lot of times they're just more belligerent, is all.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And look, I don't live and die by the team, but that doesn't make me any less intelligent about baseball than somebody that just goes there and drinks a few 6-packs and yells obscenities.
That's just the East Coast media bias.
Luckily, being on the East Coast now, you run into a lot of Yankee fans, Boston fans, and a lot of them are. I go, yeah, you guys aren't. You're wrong. Yeah, you just don't know what you're talking about.
The only
there's ignorant fans everywhere, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's very true. My favorite fans that I've interacted with, I've said before, but Orioles. They're really kind and really just good people and really fun to be around. And I've never been to a game, but it always seems this mainly stems back from when Tony Gwynn was going after 3,000 hits, and they were giving the Cardinals fans were giving him standing ovations. And
Cardinals fans are the best.
Tatis Jr. when he came back.
But they're not even showing up for the games anymore.
But I got to say, though, I have been to a St. Louis game, and they are as friendly as everybody says they are.
Yeah.
They're just very cordial. You don't hear.
And they love the game of baseball.
Yeah, they love the game, the strategy, the whole 9 yards, and you can just sense it when you're watching a game with the fans. Very impressive.
Pittsburgh fans are pretty nice too, because they say, "I hope you appreciate Joe Musgrove," and
all 3 of them at the
all 3 of them. And most of them are wearing Tatis jerseys, so but they're playing better this year.
They are. They got good pitching. Very good pitching.
I got to say, I think the last time I looked, except for I believe Baltimore and Atlanta, all the divisions are extremely close.
Yeah,
they're the only 2 teams that are kind of playing above, so to speak.
Atlanta is everyone was talking the Dodgers in the offseason. Atlanta is loaded.
They're loaded for a long time. They lost Strider,
and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh well,
Padres lost Strider.
We just have to score more runs. Oh, we do.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, Jack. I mean, even the preseason, I'm like, look, I'm not thumbing my nose at the Dodgers lineup. We've talked about that. Those top 3 or 4 hitters, some of the best in baseball. But are they necessarily better as a team than Atlanta? Heck no.
Yeah, no.
Not even close.
And Atlanta has better pitching.
Yeah. Exactly.
They easily do.
That's the team. That's the team to beat the National League.
Yep, agreed.
But the Phillies still scare me. So
All right,
Phillies are tough.
okay.
our last
You're going
predictions.
first, Jay.
Yeah.
You're going first this
I'm
time.
first this time. Okay.
Next 6 games.
So it's we've
One
got
win.
we gotta go month to month here. Let's see. So by the time
Well, our next show will have 6 games. Yeah.
So they're off on that Thursday, huh?
They're off on the
They're off
Thursday.
on
Yeah,
Thursdays
6
for a
games.
while. Yeah.
So they're in Cincinnati?
No,
No,
since
they're
they're
here.
at home.
Okay.
They're here. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say wishful thinking. They're still at 500, just even 3-3 after this week's
So
games.
it's that what you're predicting, or is that just wishful thinking?
I'm well predicting. I'd probably say 2-4.
Wow. Man, jumping ship. The Rats
So
are
fine, I'll
jumping
call
off
it.
the bandwagon.
I'm gonna say 2-4. I think the Phillies take 2 out of 3, and the Reds may take 2 out of 3.
Oh my God. Who is this guy? First you're bashing bald people and everything else. Gee,
I'm not bashing. I'm
Jack.
saying you're rich. Pick
Go
a
ahead,
side.
Jack.
Either be bald or get more hair.
All right, Jack. Here we go. Go.
I'm gonna go 4-2. I gotta be positive. I think they can.
Is that wishful thinking or your prediction?
That's my prediction. I think
Okay.
they can go 4-2.
Oh, Jerry, what are you saying? 1-5?
5-1.
5-1?
And
Yep.
Jerry, I hope you're right.
Yep.
Oz is with you. 5-1.
I am going with the theory that this hurt so bad, they're going to come home and they're going to lay waste.
I hope. I would be so happy.
Yeah.
So
I
happy.
think
Maybe
I
Oz
have
is
the feeling.
We've never seen Oz and Jerry in the same room at the same time. So
I am very optimistic. There's no doubt about it. I think the corner. I was wrong about the last one, but I think the corner is ready to be turned. And I think this team has a little bit of pressure on it. Because they can't help but look back to last year. A lot of the guys were here last year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but look back and say we can't have that happen again, guys.
Yeah.
No.
This, it's only turning into May, but we need to get going here. We can't just keep floundering at 500 and get anywhere.
Yep.
And as we've said before, right now, either a 5-game losing streak or a 4-game losing streak or vice versa could spark the direction of the season. Being 500 is very dangerous because you are literally only a 4-game losing streak.
Who do the Dodgers play next?
Boom, I'm
not looking at other players or teams, whatever. They're playing.
I'll tell you what, Washington gave them all their money's worth.
Except for
they got this. The Dodgers still swept them, though, I think.
Well, every game was close, but yesterday's.
Yeah, Nationals won the first game.
Oh, did they? Okay,
2-1. Yeah,
but then you had Ohtani had 3 doubles. It was the biggest news in the history of baseball.
Oh my God! 3 doubles in a game.
Can Major League Baseball stop being so obvious that there was some bad press for Ohtani? And I still think we still, they've swept under the rug under the whole gambling thing. Now let's just say Ohtani, all this positive stuff.
Especially when the bigger news is that Ohtani, Les Angels, and Mike Trout's got 10 home runs already.
Yeah.
But unless you turn to the third page of the sporting news, you wouldn't know that.
Well, I saw someone say, the Angels are 15-17 this season, and if they had Ohtani, they'd be 15-17.
Yeah.
But it's just like, come on, MLB. Gee, you can't. That's the problem with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Football, it's all spread. It's any city can be the talk of the town because they have the salary cap, they have all this different stuff. Pittsburgh is a Pittsburgh in baseball. Back in the 70s, 60s was a team you'd want to go see. Now it's Pittsburgh. The Steelers.
And it hurts attendance too.
Yeah, and it hurts the game.
When you as the media only say 3 teams are important, why do I need to go to a game?
Yeah. Oh, it's Texas and Arizona in the World Series. We're not going to watch it.
Well,
exactly.
And I've said it for years. If you only telecast those same 3 to 5 teams all the time, people lose interest after a while. I always tell the story that I used to be an ESPN SportsCenter guy. I mean, every night religiously at 11 o'clock. I would watch ESPN Sports Center. I no longer watch ESPN Sports Center, and I have not for probably 10 years.
You know the last time
reason
I watched
why?
it?
Because every time the lead story is New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the Dallas Cowboys, the New England Patriots. It just goes on and on and on. And,
I know the year was 2010 for me, and it's because the Padres were playing the Giants, and it was into the season for the Padres had that epic collapse where they lost 10 in a row. But they were still, and it was the Red Sox Yankees who were going for it. 3.5 hours of nothing but Yankee Red Sox talk. And they never talked about the Giants and Padres. They go, you know what? I haven't watched them since. I watched, I'll watch a baseball game on there, but I've not watched Sports Center since 2000.
Because you know what it is it's almost that same thing of like chasing the stats. They're like, oh well, we get more viewers if we do that, but then you lose viewers because now you're trying to keep honing in on a smaller and smaller audience size.
You have to talk about everything. You should, because in baseball, it's got to be someone in Cincinnati that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know there is, but it's just like,
I think it's why a lot of sports viewership is down to lower amounts now.
Yeah.
The NBA is suffering, golf is terribly suffering, and the reason is we're tired of hearing your politics, your squabbles, your divisions, and all that. And I'm tired of seeing the same 3 teams play the game of the week.
Yeah.
No matter how good they are. I have nothing against Kansas City Chiefs. They're a wonderful organization. Well, rated the lowest because of their CEO or president or whatever. But the bottom line is as a football fan, I'm tired of seeing them. And I'm not saying that they're not good and not worth watching, but
I love seeing Taylor Swift. Are you kidding me? More Taylor Swift, please. That's my policy.
But I also feel like they have to find that happy medium, because right now I would have no interest in watching an Oakland, Colorado game. Like, if it was the only thing on, I still wouldn't watch it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have to play the middle ground. I get it. But
I get that. I get that. But it's just
it's the Red Sox.
Ohtani this, Ohtani that, Ohtani this. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
There's other great players.
Yeah.
But
that shows you how Major League Baseball was panicking, because if it was true and he had to get suspended, all their marbles were in on Ohtani. That's what's wrong with baseball.
I still got questions about that, but that's just a whole other time.
Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta go. I got it.
That's fine. Let's close it out.
Oh, I'll switch to 6-0.
On that note, thank you so much for hanging out, watching.
Go Oz.
Padres talking Padres. You can subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscribe and the bell icon. More and more people are watching every week, so just do yourself a favor. Just tip on over.
Yeah.
Click subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. We'll be back next Thursday. We'll see which of us' prediction was right. Hopefully mine's wrong.
And I'm going to say,
if you're watching this, I will remind our viewers that do watch this, put your questions in the comments. We'll address them next week.
Boom. There you go. Put them in the comments.
Hopefully I have a different name next week.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Until next time, hasta luego and goodbye.
Hey, gents.
Arrivederci.